Hello and welcome from Sharjah Education Academy. And today we have interviews with three distinguished principals from very good schools, all heading for outstanding. First we have Samar Murad from International School of Creative Science. Now Samar, I believe that your school is actually the largest English British curriculum school in Sharjah. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I think we have 5,000 students in your school.
Around 5,000 students.
Mm-hmm.
We have around 4,800 students
Okay.
from early years all the way up to year 13 with approximately 600 staff.
That's absolutely amazing. A great organisational feat to make sure that everything is running smoothly. And I believe also you are in the top 10% of schools globally for pupil outcomes.
That is right. And that was evident in our latest BSO report as we were recently inspected and we proudly were rated outstanding.
That's absolutely amazing. So today we're thinking about 5 daily decisions which protect teaching quality online. We know that we've moved off online study for the moment, but we could go back at any time, and it's important to think about how to maintain the quality when we move out of the classroom. So what would your 5 daily decisions be?
First of all, thank you for having me in the first place. And to answer the question of continuity of learning and the importance of transitioning from one mode of learning to another, I believe continuity in the first place is very much like being ready to transition. And when we as schools are ready to transition and when we have systems in place and when we have routines clearly and tightly defined and when we're effective in our communication, that kind of a transition naturally happens, and that will of course be followed by continuity of learning. Yes, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about a transition from face-to-face learning to online. And today, we are in schools with face-to-face learning in place. And we are planning in the future, in case we need to transition back again to online, the question is, how can we make sure this happens smoothly and this happens efficiently and effectively in order for learning to continue? With that being said, the key element in this regard is the preparedness. And I believe we in the UAE are so fortunate to be part of a system that prioritizes stability, sustainability, continuity, a system that prioritizes the safety of everybody and learning as well. And that is all under the very big umbrella of proactive leadership. We have taken a lot of lessons in the past years. I think if we reflect back and we think about what happened during COVID and what is happening today, we still are talking about the exact same theme, which is continuity of learning and the transition. The key principle, I believe, that we all need to be aware of and focus on is clarity, confidence, and calmness. Readiness in the first place comes when the leadership is proactive and when the leadership has systems and the structures in place which should allow all stakeholders to transition. The second key priority that needs to also be considered is communication. As long as communication is effective, communication is timely, and all stakeholders are aligned, then transition will naturally happen. And this is where learning continues. Not to elaborate more on this, I just would like to, I like what you said about online learning, and I like the fact that you called it online learning, because there are times when we hear people talking about it as distant learning or distance learning or remote learning. And I believe online learning is a better approach because it is more positive. And online learning is basically a kind of an extension to face-to-face learning. It is not a backup plan. It is not a plan B. Rather, it is the extension of learning and the ability to respond to any kind of a change that happens in our life. Another key principle, you asked me about 5. I think I spoke about proactiveness, about leadership, about readiness, about systems in place, being calm, being confident, being ready. And at the same time, it's very important that we prioritize at this time the well-being of all stakeholders. Because if well-being is prioritized, then learning happens and learning continues.
Well, Samar, spoken like a great leader, I have to say, and it's clear that you have really got your organisation in your school amazingly set up in a way that would actually enable transference of learning into any mode, and I love your definitions: clarity, calmness, the importance of communication, all very important in any circumstance, but actually you're pointing out that we need quality in whatever mode.
Yes.
And your basic way of running your school, coping with the enormous numbers that you have in your school, your approach is actually ideal to sustaining the quality in whatever circumstances. So a very commendable approach and a commendable answer. Thank you very much for all your wisdom that you've conveyed in that speech that you've just given. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to hearing from you again in the future. And obviously your school will be going forward, transitioning well, because you understand in depth the transitions, and look forward to more outstanding results. And I believe you got outstanding in your last BSO inspection.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
So that sets you in good stead, I think, for another outstanding result.
Thank you very much.
International School of Creative Science.
Thank you so much.
Samar Murad. Hello and welcome from Sharjah Education Academy. I'm Lynn Stanbridge, and today I'm welcoming Darren Coulson from Sharjah English School. Now Darren, Sharjah English School, I believe, it was one of the first international British schools in Sharjah.
That's right, Lynn. We have a long and storied history. We actually celebrated our 50th year last year, so we're now in our 51st, and we're almost as old as the country itself. So yeah, we have a very long history, but I'd like to say that we're also very future focused in terms of education.
Absolutely, it's a beautiful school, a beautiful campus. You are rich in history, your results are superb, and it's nice to see you looking forward. You've completely revamped the school, haven't you? And it's looking really good. So today, what would your 5 recommendations be for retaining teaching quality online?
Yeah, I've thought about this quite a lot, Lynn, since you asked me to get involved. And what I've come down to, I think, is leadership is leadership in a sense, whether the school is online or whether we're in situ on a campus. So by that, what do I mean? I mean that preparation is key, organisation, clarity of leadership, clarity of our expectations of ourselves, of our staff. So in terms of getting ready for something like this, of course, we all went through COVID a few years ago, so we've had a bit of a practice a few years ago, but we've also moved on in terms of our use of technology. We've moved on in what works well. We've reflected over the last 4 or 5 years, obviously hoping this situation would never arise again, but if it did, could we cope? So we went into action quickly once the decision was announced that we would be online, but I don't think I can stress enough the importance alongside listening to all of your stakeholders.
Yes.
It's so important to listen to your staff, your students, your parents, in terms of the pace of introduction. So by that, in a sense, we started carefully. We didn't go straight into full-on live lessons for every single lesson, because families were not ready for that, particularly larger families. So although the school may have been ready, our stakeholders were not.
Yes.
So we kept in close contact with them, and our staff were feeding up to senior management in particular about how the students were coping. Were they attending their lessons? Were they submitting work? Who was, who wasn't? Which age groups were better than others? So that we were constantly tweaking and changing the provision. So number one would be organisation and preparation. Number two would be listening really, really carefully to our stakeholders. Number three would be adapting and tweaking once that feedback came in.
Perfect.
And then number four would be, just like in a normal school situation, really high quality assurance. And sometimes that word feels a little bit loaded to educators, as though it's a top-down. By quality assurance, I just mean checking in regularly, senior leaders, middle leaders, particularly at a time like this when staff are in difficult situations themselves. So we made sure that we checked in with every single member of staff regularly, whether it was a quick online chat, a phone call, a visit to the house. Some staff had more interaction than others because they needed it. So that really high-level quality assurance, but with a very supportive edge, given the times that we were in. And then I think number five, finally, would be follow-up. It would be, okay, how are we doing? And the necessity to improve as we went along. So take all of the information in that we've had, and then ensure, for instance, we were ready to go, let's say, a more sophisticated live approach. But we came back to school, which is great. But we were, breakout rooms and all the sort of the bells and whistles approach to online learning that would have perhaps accentuated it even more. So I hope that's a fairly robust summary. But essentially, I don't think there's that many differences between leading online or leading in school, other than staff are not on site, nor are the students.
Absolutely. I love the listening approach, and I think it's clear that, going into your school, that staff feel very supported.
I hope so.
And so the feedback, obviously, that they give you is excellent, and the way you take that feedback forward and move the school on, I think is very high quality as well. So thank you so much for all your tips, very practical, and I'm sure that Sharjah English School will continue to be one of the flagship schools of Sharjah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello and welcome from Sharjah Education Academy. This is Lynn Stanbridge, School Improvement Advisor from SPEA. Welcoming today a distinguished principal from GEMS Cambridge International School, Miss Ranju Anand. And Ranju is an Executive Vice President covering several schools, I believe, in the Cambridge group.
Yes, Thank you, Lynn. Absolutely, it's not just Cambridge. I've been with GEMS for the last 31 years.
Wow.
I've learned and grown within GEMS. At the moment, I'm overseeing 11 schools within GEMS, which are across different emirates in the UAE. So it's been a great experience, lovely exchange of practices and sharing outstanding practices within schools, which definitely helps GEMS Cambridge Private Sharjah School as well, because we do share and care. We do believe in that all the time.
Yeah, and I can see that when I come into your school, Ranju.
Thank you.
It has a lovely welcoming atmosphere. So what would be your 5 daily decisions to maintain teaching quality online?
I personally do believe to keep the teaching and learning as well, the quality to be very high, the first and foremost thing is the attitude of people, everyone, the leadership. So positive attitudes where we care about children's learning. So that's where it all starts. If everyone is positive about what they're delivering, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the challenges are, and people just carry on with a problem-solving solution and design thinking, which is our USP at school as well, that really helps. People do ask questions. They not only ask questions, most of the times we say, bring a solution to the question you may have or a problem you may have, so that we can just all agree together, collaborate on that, and just get going. So I think the attitude of people who are working in the school, that positive environment, that vibe, where people are just ready to do it and care about children and their learning, for me that's the most important decision, if you say, to create that culture in the school. The second most important thing for me would be the leadership of the school, which is there to demonstrate, to be the role models, not just to lead from the front, but allow everyone and empower everyone to lead from the front as much as they do themselves. So we do believe strongly every teacher, every child, every leader is a leader in their own right.
Absolutely.
How we give these children the opportunities to lead so that they develop that leadership. And for that, every teacher has to be a leader. Every teacher should be able to take those decisions when they need to be proactive, to be professional, so that we don't have surprises for any one of us, for that matter, whether it is distance learning or otherwise. Things change. We know we are in a very dynamic world. And that's what we tell our parents, our teachers, our staff, to be agile. That agility is the leadership at the moment. That proactiveness is the leadership at the moment. That development of resilience is the leadership at the moment. And I think that would remain. The world is a ever-progressing place in any case, but there will be unprecedented circumstances. We've gone through COVID earlier, and that was over a week. We were asking teachers to do online lessons, when a teacher is absent, to share the class, and it was not moving. Over COVID, within a week, how technology took over the world, it was fascinating to see that. However, at this time, we didn't have that challenge. We just very smoothly gotten onto that. Parents were very, accepting of that. Of course, everyone wanted their families to be safe. That was one thing. But in any case, parents were very used to it. They're very progressive. They know why and how we can change. So I think that how people led the whole thing. And on top of it, first of all, the leadership of Sharjah, Dr. Mahadita, and leadership of the UAE has been exemplary.
Absolutely.
The calm they have maintained throughout, that has been reflecting in people as well. I mean, it's amazing to see how whatever is happening around in the UAE, people were calm. There was no panic. And that is actually coming from the leadership of the country. So I think leadership is the most important decision or element in these times. I also feel that constructive feedback in whatever people are doing, when there is a change, if we are giving that positive, supportive, constructive feedback to people, I get it as well from my leaders. I then pass it on or give feedback to my leaders and then to teachers, and teachers would give it to children. That actually helps because that builds confidence. That tells people that what we are doing and the path we are taking is the right one. And if we are not on there, we hold hands to take them to the right path. And that has proven very, very helpful, I would say, for people to gain confidence, to empower them, and to actually, again, stay very positive towards whatever people are doing. On top of it, I think I should have said it earlier, but clear communication. How you convey the message. The clear words, empathetic. There is the emotional quotient is very high in our communication. That does help the parents, the students, staff as well. So I think if you put all these things together, that actually helps you, having those every day, make it a habit, make it a part of your life, make it a part of the culture. And over a period of time, everyone is just very normal with it. It doesn't look like you're doing something for today. It is there.
Well, thank you very much. And that's a very comprehensive analysis of what you do, given lots of useful tips. And I can see that the leadership, which you've obviously taken through the school, your calmness and your caring attitude, which is part of the ethos of the school, has served you well over distance learning.
Yes.
And no doubt will carry you forward to more success in GEMS Cambridge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you for the opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.